to play our countdown video, and I will also start to give away our crypto boxes. Check it one more time over here. Refresh and start. So we are connected to Twitter. I'm also connecting us to Binance. Yes, perfect. We are all set. I'm going to start our countdown video for our audience to know that we are getting ready to start. And friends, we are here to learn together with OORT because this is definitely a very unique session. Let's go. GN everyone, welcome to our operation across different social media platforms. We are currently on Binance Live, we're on our YouTube Live, we're on Twitch Live, and we are on X or Twitter Live everywhere because we wanted to let everyone know the unique OORT. This is a very cool project because it's decentralized cloud and it's not really common, right? Because we know that in Web3 we got a bunch of GameFi project, we got a profile picture PFP project, right? But for decentralized cloud and solutions over here, not really common. So we definitely would like to invite our speaker over here to teach us more information about that. Today is definitely a knowledgeable session. And friends, during today's session, we are also going to drop a bunch of crypto boxes. So friends, be sure to stay here. Help us to share the AMA link to different social media platforms and to your community so more people can come and learn and also win prizes. Yes, we are going to select 10 lucky winners, especially if you could ask very good questions in the comments. You are going to be selected to win the reward today. And for all the participants, no worries. We're also going to non-stop dropping crypto boxes. So it's going to be box ran today during the session. And to be say that, we would like to invite our guest speaker, the representative from OORT, to introduce yourself and the project to us. What exactly is OORT, the decentralized cloud? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on today. So I'm Tyler, and I'm with the OORT team. A little of my background is I spent around 8 years in Alaska before I moved to North Carolina. And while I was there, I worked on a variety of different projects dealing with blockchain and cryptocurrency and things like this. For example, we worked with using the blockchain to keep an accurate count of salmon runs. So what happens is the salmon will run all the way up from the lower part of the United States, from Washington. They'll swim up all these streams through Canada and up to Alaska, and then they'll lay their eggs, and then they'll swim back down. So they're swimming up against stream. The problem with this is that the way that they count these fish is they had a camera set on top of it, and they send it through a manual process of basically video and counting. So for me, blockchain has always been one of these things that can change the way that I see the world, because I've always been a person that has seen the world in terms of what is inefficient, what isn't working, how can we improve like processes and systems in order to better enable people to get the real value out of them and to keep it sustainable. So for me, it has always been, what's the structure of all this that will allow other things to happen? And so whenever I was working at a few different startups and saw where I worked at one startup that was recently acquired by a hotel planner, they were completely bootstrapped. So for anyone out there who thinks that they might need funding to do something, just remember it is possible to bootstrap and then be acquired. I worked for a custom software development company, which really gave me a better background on dealing with project management, more business analysts, seeing systems and requirements and what's necessary to complete certain jobs or functions or projects. And that led me to OORT. So my crypto background is I've been in Bitcoin since around 2012. I've really been a person that didn't really participate in the NFT rush or bull market because I was so I had a thing. It was like my coins were my babies. I couldn't just like give them away. So now we're moving into more of this era of like utility and function and where utility is derived. And OORT became this thing that, so a background on the OORT. So really what we're working on right now is the DePIN, the decentralized infrastructure for AI. So meaning that in Web3, it is possible to store data in a decentralized way. It is possible to have a decentralized compute, and it is possible to run processes off of this. So we do believe all of these things are possible, and that's what we're working towards. So really, the way we distinguish ourselves from other cloud solutions that you might have heard of is this privacy and cost savings. And really what's happening is there's a decentralized infrastructure that we've put in place, and it's a 3-tiered node architecture. So imagine it like a stool. And so what we have is we have an aggregation of the decentralized infrastructure that already exists. We have these edge nodes, which are essentially these small box miner device boxes. And then we have our private and public cloud services. And so when data comes into the system, what it does is it's sharded against all of the nodes. And that's actually what's really decentralizing the data. Because even though we see other systems that exist, what's going wrong is, or where we see the problem is that these decentralized storage solutions are on the back end really operating on an AWS or a centralized server.
Wow, thank you so much, Heather, for all the information sharing with us. North Carolina, very close to me. I'm also in East Coast America over here. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, saying hi from the great New York and New Jersey area. So close. Yeah, and you also mentioned about deeping for friends who are not familiar with this concept. You might to go a little deeper or use some another way that are more friend who might be the first time to hear about the phrase that they could understand as well. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So when I think of decentralized infrastructure, I really think of like data ownership and where data is coming from, and really what like a decentralized infrastructure would be able to do is be able to allow like systems and processes and people to be able to share data or be able to contribute to larger networks as a whole. For example, there is a project right now where you can put a camera in your car and you can record things, and then you get rewarded on chain for this. As for builders, developers, other types of businesses that really pay money for access to data to be able to access these things. So where we sit while all these products and services are being built, what we do is we enable all of those other things to happen, because the structure, the storage, the compute, this is done in a decentralized way. Because even at the end of the day, if we have this system of DePIN where a centralized server, we're still reaching that same like friction point or point of resistance. And that's what we really are looking to change. So if we can operate in a place where we underpin all of these other systems, DApps, infrastructures that are being built, then the entire system becomes a lot more distributed in the process.
That is nice, and thank you for sharing us all the information, and especially the fundamental knowledge and background about OORT, decentralized cloud. And could you please also elaborate on what sets OORT apart from other decentralized cloud solutions, specifically regarding privacy and cost savings? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I might have touched on this a bit, and I kind of went all over the place. So I'll try and clean it up. But really what's enhancing this security and data privacy is that we're eliminating a single point of failure. And that goes back to that sharding of data being distributed across all the nodes.
Cool.
And so really what that mechanism is doing is it's and computing resources across the network. So that's really where you're able to receive these cost savings. So a great example of this is there are a few large streaming platforms that in traditional Web2 industries, and it's really hard for, let's say, History Channel. History Channel, they have their own video streaming platform, but it's slow. There's a lot of bandwidth. There's a lot of latency, and really what's going on is they're having this stored in a centralized server. Whenever you are, I hit pause or I skip or I go backwards, they pay for all of that going back and forth. When another solution that we could offer is video comes into the storage bucket, the whoever is using it can access that data video file, and since it's in your own personal bucket and not stored in this centralized server, the distribution of it is really quick. Bandwidth is really really quick, and there's barely any latency. And I'll be able to show you guys. So hopefully the video doesn't go out, but really this is what's enabling us to be really cost efficient and private, is that we are almost combining the best of both worlds. And the technology that we've built allows for these systems to work really seamlessly.
Got it. That's nice. Yes. Taylor, if you have any videos that you could share with us, that's definitely great. Yeah, to help our audience to understand more about OORT. So anytime, just feel free to share the screen. Since let's just say video streaming. So everyone definitely love to see that. And I see that so far we have over 684 live views right now, and friends helping us to share the link and also ask questions in the comments, whether it's on our Binance Live or YouTube or Twitch, or Twitter, right? You could all post your message in the comments, and I'm going to share that with Tyler as well. And so could you please tell us what is this? It looks like some Google files. Is it this decentralized storage that you mentioned about?
Yep. So I'll just walk you through. So this is the main console of OORT. So when you come in, you have the two offerings. So you have the custom factually accurate AI agent, which we haven't really touched on. But then for object storage, we can come here. And so what this looks like is you're able to set up public and private buckets. I have enjoyed this product a lot personally, just because I've always been someone that I like to try and build something or develop code or build a website or something like this, but I always found it's so painfully difficult to find somewhere to host it, or at least be able to visualize what I was doing. So the cool thing about the OORT storage is that you can actually set up, host games, websites, hot and cold data. I also like messing with 3D designs and models in Blender. And so I'll actually show you that here in a second. But this right here is hosted currently, so you guys could visit this website. Just a basic website with hosting of images. Very, very simple use case. Nothing too difficult. You guys would probably be able to develop something a lot cooler than I have. But this is what gets me really excited, and I hope someone can take this and run with it. So I put together a little like HTML, CSS arcade. And so being able to see how quickly the game will start up and play. Go home, check out Frogger. What's happening is on those edge nodes, the content delivery becomes a lot faster when it doesn't have to work from pulling from a centralized server, and instead it's just pulling from that bucket. Yeah. Tetris is probably all messed up because I don't know how to write code, but you guys kind of get the picture here.
This is very cute that we could play games over there.
Thank you. I try so hard, and it's still just it's a work in progress. Let's see if I can find. Okay, so this one is really, really cool. I was actually very, very proud of this because I am not sure of. I can't think of any other storage solution that, generally that the public could use, like a Dropbox or Google Drive, or even something like IPFS, where running directly from the bucket is a 3D model that I can render and have shown. So let's see.
Oh. So
And I go ahead.
sorry, how do users get these? Are those the apps that they could just access to if they subscribe to OORT decentralized cloud solutions, or is this something that you build and then you stored it to your cloud storage? Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a wonderful question. So we're giving you access to the tools you need to be able to do what I just did. There are a few websites where you can actually get 3D models for free. You can just download the GLB file. I've actually created a GitHub repository as well, just for this like little viewer, but that's open source as well. So I'm not working with anything like proprietary or anything that I'm hiding for you or anything that you couldn't do yourself. As far as billing goes, though, we are very, very generous with what we're offering. I just think for like continuity of your own data, me feeling secure about myself, knowing that the Google Drive will most likely get hacked a lot more, and so will other places that are going to breach my data. So for me, security is in myself. Like if I can somehow mitigate my own risk by using a storage solution like this with all my precious data files and images, and I don't have to keep you don't have to have your recovery keys in Apple Notes for that one day when Apple Notes gets hit. And so we don't have to do this anymore because we can just use these privatized buckets and be able to access them as needed for ourselves. A terabyte of archival storage, 20 gigabytes of standard storage, which is hot and cold data. And then this is the good one. This is where I think that we could come into the market and really competitively price some of these larger centralized players out of the game, because I can't imagine what Netflix pays to Amazon per month. It's got to be 7 figures. And if we can come in and cut 60 to 80% off, help them dealing with piracy of their videos, things like this, I think it's a no-brainer.
That is nice. Thank you so much for letting us know about that. So definitely a bonus, right? We have decentralized cloud storage solutions, and we also have all those tools that we could use to build our own creations. That's just wonderful. Thank you, Taylor, for answering the question. And so could you please also explain? I know the tech part, right? You are definitely a tech guy, so we would like you to explain the underlying tech and infrastructure that power OORT, and how does it ensure security, scalability, and reliability for its users, because we already have so many different cloud storage in Web2. Why do we wanted to choose Web3? What's the advantage of that? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that we hit on some of the reasons why you would want to have your data stored in a decentralized way, just given the nature of security breaches and hacks and things like this. That is why it's important to be talking about this transition of data. It's nice that Amazon provides $250,000 to startups. It's nice that Microsoft Azure can provide $100,000 hackathons where they give out money, but at the end of the day, once you're in their system, it's much more difficult to get out of it. And we've seen this with a lot of like gaming studios or I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. But with Yuga Labs, for example, this metaverse game has been a work in progress. But I think what they were trying to do was something that large games have already tried to do. I mean, I think that it was known that it was really expensive to start a game. It was really expensive to run it. Servers are really expensive. Like, we knew all this was costly. And so I think that if that isn't done a different way, then the results will stay the same. So the way that the technology and infrastructure work is that it's a sophisticated blend of blockchain technology. We use encryption methods, peer-to-peer networking structure, and that combination of those things really ensures the security and scalability and reliability. And so with us, security is always paramount, and we want that data encrypted before it's distributed across the network. And we want only authorized users to be able to access their information. So providing users with a scalable architecture, it really allows for a seamless expansion, and that accommodates growing data storage, not only for the foreseeable future, but as we get into more of a macro sense, things will get more expensive. Computing will get more expensive. Storage will get more expensive. And so the barrier to entry for a lot of people is going to go up. We want to be able to address this and provide a solution for those people. The reliability of our network is really through this sharding and data redundancy. So the data is replicated across those multiple nodes. And this really helps prevent that loss or downtime. So like I was showing you, what I was pulling from, my data was sharded, but I was pulling from certain nodes to be able to get that to me as fast as possible so you guys could see it. I believe that our infrastructure really supports our vision of providing a secure, efficient, and resilient service to our users.
That is very nice. And thank you so much for letting us know about the details, right? Certainly, as we are like getting used more and more to the Web3 space, right? We certainly feel that, wow, there are a lot of benefits, right? If we embrace the decentralized way. And so that's why I wanted to ask the question, right? Compared to traditional cloud solutions and also Web3. And next question over here that we have prepared is that how does the OORT token integrate within the OORT ecosystem? And could you please discuss its utility, incentives for holders, and any impact on the governance of the platform? Because since we're in Web3, right, we definitely would like to talk about token economy. Thank you.
Totally. No, this is a great question. I love this question actually, because I'm big into tokenomics. I'm big into it. I'm not good, not necessarily good, but I enjoy these parts of crypto because it really points to like where the value is being derived in a given system. Because I think we all know that like the value isn't from the image. I can go on the blockchain and I can look at the content hash, and so like the image isn't what we're looking for. I mean, I believe that what most tokenomics are aiming to do is provide you with a treasure map. And that treasure map provides a lot, there's ways of exploring the system, and there's ways of finding little small things along the way. But ultimately, that treasure map is going to take you to the same place. I think that what happens a lot of time in projects is I give you the treasure map as a holder, and then I say, hey, here's the treasure. I don't really give you a chance to explore, find out things for yourself, figure out like, oh, okay, well, this is the route that they took. This is how they're doing it. But in order to do this, like your tokenomics has to be very, very dynamic, and you have to have multiple outlets and sources for your holders. So for us, it really does serve multiple critical functions in our ecosystem. It acts as the medium of exchange. It provides incentive for users to participate and either commit storage or computing resources to the network. And we've used it in the past as a way of governance. So these are some of the like high level ways of like, typical use. People use it to buy and sell. There's an incentive on what you can do and how you can earn within the given system. It also provides a basis and foundation for our storage and compute products to be able to offer discounts to those token holders, or in exchange with some of the partner projects that we've just started working with, to be able to use inside of their ecosystem. I'm trying to think of which ones I can actually say. I feel positive saying Sugar Kingdom. Sugar Kingdom's really cool. They're like Candy Crush. If you've ever played Candy Crush, they're like Candy Crush for Web3. And what they're doing is they're allowing for people that were previous token holders of other projects to essentially come into their ecosystem and then play their game, which I think it's phenomenal. I think it's really, really smart to give people an outlet, because you don't want the outlet of your token just to be buy and sell. You just don't want it to be speculative. So for us, we've created the OORT Earn program. We're going to have stake for storage. And a lot of this is being done on the back end on the technical side. So these integrations are going on right now as we speak. We're also working on integrating with a few partner projects. We're exploring potential gamification options to be able to provide a more leaderboard dynamic experience. So what I was alluding to in the beginning of, like, you have a treasure map and you have OORT token. You can go explore the OORT Earn and see what that looks like. You can go explore some of our partner projects and be able to do that. You are a startup and you need to build a website. You need hosting. You can play your OORT token there. You could buy and sell. You could use your OORT token there. And so I think that, like, there's a lot of hands that take a lot of work and development to actually get these things to function well. I've been studying a few different projects that maybe weren't the most mainstream, but they were really good because they allowed for this, like, integration of their idea, their project, the work that they're doing, along with the utility of, okay, if I do this, I am rewarded. And this is like a closed feedback system. And I think that too often in crypto, we see that the promise of utility always comes before the legitimate utility. That's where we want to be different. And that's where we want to address this multifaceted utility and really maintain our presence in a decentralized ecosystem.
That is just so nice. Thank you so much, Tyler, for explaining the concept with us. I feel like normally, when we talk about tokens, right, and also technology and combining together, oh my goodness, talking Web3, that's so difficult for the majority of the community members to really figure out what does that mean, right? But after learning from you today, I feel like this is the in-depth understanding. Really get to know about the decentralized cloud storage, and also how it works and how the ecosystem works. This is really good. So if some projects are interesting partner with OORT, what's any plans or any strategy for partnership or collaborations that OORT has established, or what are the procedures that they could do, and what do you normally do with your partners to make the Web3 space stronger, and also how do you grow and also let more people to adapt to using the decentralized cloud storage? Thank you.
Yeah, I think all these are wonderful question. Let me try and piece it up. So one of the first things that happens when I normally talk with a company or a partnership is that they didn't realize it could be so easy, or that it could act like something they were already using. A lot of the partnerships that we have put together recently have and mainly towards Web3. But I think that the Web3 value is different from the Web2 value. Web2 is certainly seeing it from a cost conscious point of view, but then there's also an inherent risk with any new company. Any established provider is going to not really want to give you that chance, because then that puts all the risk on them. Like if something goes wrong, then that's their fault. So what we found to be the most effective way of working with especially large companies, but even smaller companies, and I've always been this type of person, is pilot projects. So what are the small pieces that we can work on together, or where are the small things that we can identify where we might work best together? Because I don't think anyone ever knows. Like, we might make a lot of assumptions about how we can potentially work with someone, but a lot of those assumptions can be false. And so we don't really know until we have that conversation and see where they are, what are their goals, what are their actual requirements. For us, it hasn't ever been the objections that we receive are more along the lines of, it's new, it's not known, and it's selling to someone that doesn't really understand Web3 or decentralization. So it's tough, but it's happening. I think that each partnership that we select is really careful and strategic, and we're doing it we're doing it as a way to showcase and then be able to highlight some of the ways that our product is being used. For example, our work with Lenovo was specifically with their customer service printer department, and they used our AI to create a factually accurate bot. And it's interesting that people would imagine that, why not use ChatGPT, right? Like, ChatGPT exists, OpenAI is like in the world. But the problem is that these large enterprises, number one, they can't use these public LLMs. They just can't. But then their only other alternative is to either spin up their own LLM using private server, which is so expensive. Or what they could do is they could just internalize all the data they already have and then create an LLM based off that data. So it can only work off of what it's been given. And that's the beauty of what we've created is we provide a way for these larger enterprises to be able to store their data in a decentralized way and then create a chat agent to work off of that data alone and not use anything from outside of it. So we're always open to new opportunities and new conversations. I love talking to people and seeing what they're doing. So if there is someone in the audience that's interested in talking to me or even exploring going through a demo, please reach out. I'm always available to just discuss or see how I can use my network to further what you're doing.
Nice. So Tyler, how could our audience reach out to you? Do they just go through OORT official Twitter handle, or to have your personal handle, or do they go to Discord server or any other communities to ask questions or to communicate with you? Thank you.
Yes. So you can find me on Twitter, and then I'm gonna say no to the to the Telegram, just because my Telegram chats are floor to ceiling. So we'll say no to that. If you reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter, I'm not very active on Twitter. I'm on it daily, but I don't post that often. Just send me a DM. I'll see it. Let me know that you're from this chat, and then we could move over to Telegram. Have no problem there.
That's nice. Thank you so much for letting us know about that. Yes, friends. So definitely, everyone, if you have questions, to or to Taylor, to learn more about the Web3 decentralized way, right? To for our storage solution, because this is, after all, something that we all need, right? This is a certain service that we all need, especially since the internet era, right? And now we are in Web3. We wanted to adapt a different way, a more Web3 way, right, to embrace and to store our data in a more security way to do that. And thank you so much, Taylor, for answering a lot of questions already. So, looking ahead, what are the key milestones and objectives that OORT aim to achieve in the next, say, a year and a year and a half? Are there any upcoming features or developments that we should be excited about? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question. I really like how you are able to say what I say in a few words, so that's good.
Thank you.
So I believe that in the next 12 to 18 months, we're really focused on a few significant milestones, and one of those being expanding our global node network, which are those edge miners that we discussed. So this is not a key problem or a key issue, but this really comes to balance. You want to find balance in all things. And so like with us and our network, we don't want that three-legged stool. We don't want one leg longer than the other. We don't want the private and public cloud servers taking up all the space. We don't want just the decentralized providers, because most of them at their base are using these guys right here, public and private cloud servers. We need to expand and build out this edge device a bit more. And I think that that's really this edge Deimos device 2.0, which would be a hardware device in your home with a terabyte of storage. And also seeing still if we're able to provide some type of cloud distributed computing, or at least provide some type of system of function where people that have certain, how can I say this, certain specifications or like system specifications. So they're, they can compute certain things. They could stake. I think another one of the things, and to close that out with why why the node network is important, is because it better enhances that user experience. It allows for gaming companies to actually come in and say, hey, we're going to store all of our assets on OORT storage. And then when people are in game actually playing, selecting these things, that data recall is really quick. We have no problems with latency. There's no buffering. So we're also launching a few new services that complement our existing offerings, and that's going to be the decentralized compute. So I missed earlier when I said what was something that was how we work with partnerships and things like this. Not having compute for us was a big stunner with some of these conversations, because storage is great and all, but without the compute side of things, I can only do so much. I can't really do everything I need to do. And so some companies were reluctant to work with us because of this. So that's one of the things that we're building out. We're also really going to be exploring these data analytics tools and these staking mechanisms for OORT token, as I discussed. We're also looking at creating more of a DApp presence, not only on our network, but provide, like I said, that foundation for other projects on other chains to still be able to use OORT at the end of the day. Because I believe that where we're going to end up, it will be, OORT isn't necessarily front-facing. So it's not like the brand but it's like the brand you use, if this makes sense. And I'm sure we will be known, but we don't have to be so much in the front facing anymore. It just becomes like a normal thing for people, like, okay, I'm building something, I use OORT storage, I use OORT compute, I'm good to go. So that's where I envision us moving to, and I envision a richer and more versatile platform that makes it seamless for anyone that wants to migrate from Google Drive. Just say, like, I'm done with Google Drive, I want to migrate everything today. You can do that today, but in the future, I see this being a one click, just very seamless.
Wow, one click would definitely be great, because I remember, when I transferring from one school to the other, right? I only have like a few months for me to transfer all my original school emails or document, right? Like probably like 3 months or something of the time frame that I had to transfer, and then I'm going to lose that old school account forever, right? And that one click solution is really really great because I don't have to worry about losing all the important documents, right? So or transaction, and also clicking links, and that definitely totally waste of time. So that is certainly a good feature that many people are looking forward to, and also these will actually make adapting Web3 storage solutions easier, right, for ordinary users. And can we also talk about the cost? How much would be the cost? And also, is it accessible for people everywhere over the world, or is it only for the States? Or is it for like all the Web3ers? And do they only pay using words tokens, or can they pay using other tokens, or even US dollars, like pay by credit card? Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, no, again, wonderful question. I'm glad that you asked it. Paying and all of these things, like, it makes it really easy. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to ensure that people didn't have to worry about something being token gated. By having something that's token gated, it makes it really tough for people to participate in the network. It also creates a few other barriers for people that might want to use your product or service but don't want to deal with tokens. There's a lot of people outside of Web3 that would not work with us if it were tokens. But I think that sentiment is changing, which is really nice. Our product, I would say, is best fit for, man, I grew up in a rural town, rural village, as you can say, like a rural place. And I watched people trade and barter. I watched eggs and butter get traded for just about anything. And I watched this system of economics like growing up. And so I imagine that, okay, fast forward, you go there to those towns today, and that same commerce doesn't happen. It's all centralized. There's the Walmart, there's the whatever, there's no local commerce going on anymore. I see OORT storage as reconnecting those small towns and villages in those really remote places and giving them the availability and accessibility to storage and compute functions that people in large cities have. So in my ideal world, in my dreams, I see OORT as being the guys that make it hard to compete with in the end, because we've made the barrier to pay or barrier to entry so low that so much value is actually coming through the system. Because if we don't have it as pay to play, then you really are going to get all types of people coming into that system, whether they're from India or Asia, or whether they're from Europe or Canada or South America or wherever it may be. Everyone is playing their own individual, but also a very communal role in distributing this data, creating this network, enabling people to access tools that they wouldn't have before. It blows my mind, and I think it's really incredible because I think that if you looked at like a 20 to 30 year span on the effects of OORT storage and OORT compute on a small system, you would see a return on that investment, because people would actually be able to have that outlet to create things. Like my grandmother once told me that, you don't know if you don't know. You don't know if you don't know. And we want to close that gap on people not knowing what they don't know, and then saying, here, now you can build something.
Right. Definitely. Thank you so much. And this is definitely, a great way for us to really learn about, how this works. And if there are more visual elements, for example, like the deck or token dummy chart or anything like you'd like to share with us, Heather, feel free to do so. And I'm starting to also go over questions from our community members over here. For example, some people ask about are there any significant or important partners that you could share with us? Thank you.
Let's see here. I think that we just announced.
That is awesome.
I'm just trying to make sure I don't say anything that I'm not supposed to say. Pools Finance is one of the new partners that we brought in, along with a Brains.ai. This is new, so they are. It's spelled strange, but they're German company, and they're also game developers. And one of the projects that they're working on right now is Pickle Zone. And so working with them, really, like I stated before, trying to be this like infrastructure layer where, Brains is doing the partnership, but OORT is going to be able to power it and make it all work, and people can make their money and things like that. Because that's another thing too, is that these cost savings are really helping businesses and owners be able to use that additional revenue in different ways when it would have just been a burn in the past. Now it can go towards new employees or new systems or whatever it may be to help out with the infrastructure. Let's see here. Who is another? Just give me a moment. I know that we've announced like the Sugar Kingdom, and that had been on some past conversations, so I didn't want to be repetitive.
Take your time. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's. We have had the partnerships continuous on the Web2 side with Dell and Lenovo, and we're about to go to ETH Denver, and so our focus is readjusting back to more Web3 partnerships. Nice. So I guess that one of the things that I can ask from this conversation is that if you guys know of any Web3 projects or companies or people that are building in the space, please connect us with them so we could have a conversation. The last bull market, our focus was so much on, transitioning, onboarding Web2 to Web3, that a lot of the Web3 narrative was focused towards IPFS. And again, not bashing anyone, that's just not my style. But if you just look at costs on a very basic level, the cost of this IPFS pinning, and then also the way that the miners are incentivized in the network, they're incentivized to store new data. So it's not really clear about their trash cleanup or garbage collection or how that incentive mechanism continues onward past 7 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay for now and 2 years from now. But what about in a decade? How are those miners then that stored the data file initially still going to be incentivized in 10 years? I don't think those files will be there.
Wow, that's nice. And so since that you talk about a lot of collaborations with Web2 projects, do you plan to also doing more with Web3, and also in which way so when you collaborate together, do OORT like providing storage solutions for them, or are you trying to build something else? For example, maybe like some tools that could be included into the OORT ecosystem or other things like that? Thank you.
Yeah, this is a great question. So I'm open to all of the above. Like I said, it really depends case by case how the conversation goes, and then what they we are always open to co-marketing and co-business development. So if there is someone in my existing network or system that I know that can benefit from your services, I'm happy to make an introduction. That's no problem. Joint marketing, we love doing Twitter spaces. We also have some ideas around this that I think would be interesting to explore, maybe with your community, maybe with yourself, but hosting these tech talks. So not necessarily talking about OORT, what OORT is doing, but more along the lines of like what they have going on, what they find interesting, what are like the trends that are going on inside of like companies' worlds, to give a more encompassing view of the space. Because I feel like we still live in a world where it's so easy to, we're talking about decentralized data, but it's so easy to silo ourselves. Like it's so easy to get stuck in our own little bubbles and not realize that there are some other things going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Certainly. Thank you so much. Yeah, today really like expanding all of our views to look at the decentralized storage solutions, right? And friends, this is definitely a new concept. So if you haven't given OORT a follow, be sure to do that. And also thanks a lot to anyone who posts questions across different platforms. For example, that we have friends posting questions through our Binance over here. Yeah, we have the most over here. Was have fun. Our Twitter and our Twitch. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And before we wrap up today's session, I would like to ask Taylor if you still have anything that you wanted to mention with us. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that words to the wise. I think the word to the wise is to get outside. Mm-hmm. Honestly, just that it's one thing that I can leave you with is try and connect to you today. Try and see how you're feeling outside of like all the other things going on, because it's so easy to get caught up in ourselves and what we have going on. But I think that if we can give ourselves 5 minutes, just like drop it, let everything go, don't think about anything, and just you can walk around outside, walk in a circle. I do this. I feel like it gives me a break, a mental break, because I'm looking at multiple screens all day. I mean, right now I have a phone, I have a laptop, I have a screen right here, and it's just like really encompassing. So if I could leave you with anything, it would be that, like, remember your health is important. Remember that at the end of the day, like, blockchain is here to stay.
Right.
And so if you miss something today, like, don't let the FOMO hit you too hard. Just realize that it's a game. Someone told me once when I first started acquiring Bitcoin, they said, it's a long game. You don't need one at a time. He's like, you're accumulating, right. Period. You accumulate. You just keep accumulating. And so I think that whether it be knowledge, whether it be tokens, whether it be AMAs, airdrops, whatever it is that you're into, whatever you're doing, accumulate, keep working hard, get time in it, get experience, and enjoy yourself, because your happiness is key and paramount. If you're not happy, probably other people around you aren't very happy. So let's
nice. You're a tech guy, but you also know about life and also balance, right? Just like you say, especially right now, the market conditions picking up, and it feels like, wow, every day like Bitcoin go up to certain, right? And we are so afraid that we just skip a moment and lose the opportunity to earn money, right? But yeah, just like you say, this is actually we're accumulating, and this is definitely a long term, right? We want to be here long term, right? So just don't be too anxious, right, when we miss an opportunity. And we like to say we like to see that, yes, we have our Kema over here saying great session, thank you so much for all the things that explaining to us, really knowledgeable and letting us know a lot of the things, and looking forward to OORT making splashes in blockchain. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your space with me. Honestly, like, I enjoyed it. I thought that you were a great host, and this hour flew by. So thank you to your community. Thank you to you. Happy to be
Thank
here.
you. Thank you. We got a lot of friends saying thank you as well. And feel free to, leave our meeting room. Continue your day. I know it's like 10, almost 11 a.m., right? Time for
Yeah.
lunch. Take a break. Thank you so much, Taylor, for your time. And we are going to do replace for friends who miss the previous part, and no worries. We are going to keep dropping crypto boxes as well for friends who missed the previous ones. Thank you. We are looking forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you. Okie dokie, friends. I'm going to drop another box for friends who just joined us. And now we hit, 3,500 views. And I would like to, over here, do this way. And hey, we actually are featured on the front page of Binance Live. I am going to share that because we got so many views. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us. Let's take a look over here. Did you see that? I'm going to screenshot that and share with our guest speakers. Wow, I believe that OZR definitely from Turkey. I love those blue eyes over there. That is just cute. Thank you so much, friends, for joining us to support and also to send flowers over here. We got Binance user C4 saying great sharing. Thank you. Nice. Oh, we got so many different languages. Some language I don't know what it is, but I got translations and it says thank you. Nice. And thank you, the host. That is nice. Perfect. And love the presenters. Thank you so much. Perfect. Amazing. Sending hearts to everyone. I feel like I get to know everyone day by day. Now we are going to do replace for people who missed the previous part. And before that, we are going to share our ending video over here. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, everyone. Okie dokie, friends over here. I know everyone's very exciting about the current market, right? Me too. I'd like to say bye to friends who are watching us on our Twitter. Thank you so much, all. And we're also going to say bye to friends who are watching us on our YouTube. Thank you for posting comments. And friends, don't forget, I do hope to see you keep posting comments. And then we're going to collect 10 best comments or best questions from our audience to give you rewards. So don't forget to keep posting comments. Okay. Constructive suggestions, good comments, positive comments. We want positive vibes. Okay. Positive vibes over here. Yes. I see that Binance user 2E says win. Yes. Providing positive vibes over here to our live streaming session, and you might win your unique rewards. Thank you so much. Going to say bye to friends who are watching us on Twitter or X Live. Thank you. And say bye to friends who are watching us